5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. We are here with the Splash and Dash Morning Show. I am your host, Sly Job Sal. Here to recap another exciting weekend in the NASCAR Xfinity and Cup Series. It was a good one, Darlington Throwback Weekend. You know, I might have taken a nap in the second stage. Might have happened. Not gonna lie. We're gonna be honest with each other and ourselves. But there were some good things this weekend. We saw some controversy late. We almost saw Blaney get that win with battling with Reddick. So I don't know. I don't have any words left for Ryan Blaney. It just seems like they rug pull him every week. It's tough. If you're a Blaney fan, just keep the toaster out of arm's reach. It's not good. But some good throwbacks out there on the track. One of the favorite throwbacks, though, getting pretty banged up in the wall quite a few times. I love rustling the Larson fans' feathers a little bit. They're fun. They're a fun group to kind of poke at. I have some fun comments on one of my videos that has gone quite out of control. But William Byron, I mean, Denny Hamlin wins that cup race, but William Byron just crazy to lead over 240 laps, just and then have a pit cycle come in and mess your day up is wild. That competition meeting is not going to be a fun one this week. I can't imagine they're going to be too pleased with themselves. I think it's just like a culmination of a number of things. Fugel got it wrong, but the strategy play just it's not. They don't have a crystal ball, so unfortunate for sure. Yeah, no, that car wasn't set up for traffic. It was definitely one that was built for the clean air. It was what was he out 3-4 seconds ahead of everybody when he was up front in the clean air. Then once he got shuffled through, it was rough for sure. We saw flashes from Christopher Bell this weekend. He went from the front to the back to the middle to everywhere. That's my only big complaint this week about the broadcast was you didn't really get the chance to see battles through the whole field. They really only ever showed who was up front. It felt like I was watching like an iRacing fixed camera setup. Like oh, the race is over and it's showing you like a replay. There had to have been better battles through the field. They just didn't want to show the battle for 15th on TV, which I get it, but anytime there's two cars side by side at Darlington, I want to see it. But all right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop with the tunes, the singing along songs. We had ATYL Media Zone, Taylor Kitchen, and Dom Joseph out at Darlington this weekend. I think Buddy was out there too. All those Carolina kids, they get out and have a good time. They got me locked away up here. I don't like it. I gotta unlock myself. I got people talking to me about Dover already in July. That'll want to be fun. We're definitely doing that. Can't guarantee anything else, but I can't wait to go back to Dover. Sunshine. I'm gonna cook myself to death on those bleachers. Oh, if you notice on ATYL on the YouTube, Facebook, and X, there's a QR code up in the top of your screen there. It's for Happy Hour Racing. Check them out. They do some great deals. They work with us here at ATYL Media. They have subscription boxes so you can get your Denny Hamlin race winner T-shirts every week without even ordering. They'll set it up for you. They just mail it right to your house. You can even get monthly boxes of random merch or build a profile, and they'll send you things that they think you might like. So very cool model for what they do over there. I have a few shirts and things like that, but they've been really good to us. And if you're in the market for some new merch, head on over and check them out. All that to be said, this ATYL bucket hat, super hot fire flames also, but different story. Uh, Figured we could buzz through a little bit of Xfinity first, right? So Brandon Jones, 98 race winless streak in the Xfinity series. That was what we were looking at. Uphill battle for him all day. But the final caution, the final restart, he really got himself in a position to win that race. Cars faster than him all around him, in my opinion. I thought Allgaier was the car to beat for sure, for sure. Him and Ross. Ross looked like he had a strong car there at the end, running in the I think it was the 9 for, I forget who he was running for, but he was running in the 9. Jones took the lead with 12 laps to go, overtaking Jeb Burton. Maintained his position, fending off Chase Elliott and Justin Allgaier. This was his second Darlington win, and the 6th win in the Xfinity Series for Brandon Jones. The late race restart, though, that was the big one, right? The restart just wadded up the field. There was not a lot of room. There's never a lot of room to pass at Darlington. The cars have a hard time, and unless you're kind of tracking below that double dotted or that dotted white line, to get that car to turn down a little better, it's tough to do. Oh, thank you for scanning the QR code for Happy Hour Racing. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, once cars seemed to get out into the clean air, it was really difficult for them to get caught back down. Once cars behind the leader, go side by side, not easy to overcome. But that was the winning move for Brandon Jones was getting that restart the way he needed. And who this? Oh, was getting the restart he needed, really getting the jump on Chase Elliott and on Jeb Burton and Justin Allgaier, because those guys, they smell blood in the water. They're ready to rip. So good for Brandon, back in victory lane. Something about Darlington too this weekend, Cup and Xfinity Series. Oh. Pit Road was a busy place this weekend in both series. We saw races won on Pit Road this weekend. Just really love to highlight the importance of the team, not just the drivers. And we definitely saw that where we're looking at guys tossing jacks behind their backs to save a half a second to shave time off. Ultimately, getting their drivers out that much quicker and squeaking ones out. Track position at Darlington is everything. So it was really interesting to see how they were able to execute. I give those guys so much props. I feel like I would love to try it, like for fun. I've gone to the Hall of Fame in Charlotte. Might make that visit again when I'm in town later this month. But they got the little fake one. You pull it down, bzz, 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 boop, put it back on. It's time yourself. But these guys are on a whole different level. These are like performance athletes. But man, it looks like it's so much. It looks fun. I don't know, just like the choreographed nature of like moving around the car. Meanwhile, there's other cars moving 40, 50, 60 miles an hour down pit road to try to squeak in, squeak out. I'm into it. I'm fat though. Like I'm not like an athlete. They could whip me into shape. No problem. Couple protein bars. Couple protein bars. Pep talk from somebody. Be good to go. But loving the team aspect from this weekend. I think that's something that's real slept on in this sport. It's like, oh, the drivers win everything. They're so good. Well, they are, but they wouldn't be on the track if it wasn't for the engineers and for the crew chiefs and for everybody else involved. So two QR scans. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. I got a couple of what do you call this? Let's see. There's a little script here. Saturday's race at Darlington showcased the multifaceted nature of NASCAR, where strategy, driver, and skill and team execution converge. Brandon Jones' victory serves as a testament to perseverance, while performances from Elliott, Allgaier, and others highlight the competitive depth of the series. It was nice to see some of the big boys come back down and run in the Xfinity Series. I know they like doing that from time to time, especially at Darlington. It is a track that is too tough to tame. So it's nice to see them decide to get some extra time in the seat. I think it helps the Xfinity drivers learn a little bit. But yeah, Brandon Jones, first winner, won. 2-lap penalty if a tire falls off. Those crew guys are under a lot of pressure. Yeah, I'd be real scared. I mean, we saw a close call with the tire falling off with Keselowski where the nut backed off. But yeah, I mean, there was a video from Christopher Bell's team. They just were, if they're not doing a pit stop, they were in the pit box area, like behind the wall, just practicing, just getting that single lug tightened down, tightened down, tightened down. It's a tough deal. The science behind that, like the way that, I don't know, what do you call it? Like that center pin is designed. It's bigger than a pin. I mean, the wheel sits on it, but the pin that comes up that holds the nut in place seems kind of flimsy. Not gonna lie. They back off a lot. Tire didn't come off, which was good, but there was no caution for Keselowski in that situation. So you talk about tires falling off, pressure. It's there. Denny Hamlin's crew, they don't know what pressure is. They're cool as cucumbers. They're good. That behind the back move, I still can't get over it. But Brandon Jones winning in the Xfinity Series, Chase Elliott, Justin Allgaier, Ross Chastain, Carson Kvapil having a great year. He brings in a P5 finish. Connor Zilic, my favorite for the championship, a lot of people's favorite, brought it in 6th. Christian Eckes, Nick Sanchez, Sammy Smith, Sheldon Creed round out the top 10. Jesse Love, Ryan Sieg, Harrison Burton, P13, Sam Mayer, Jeb Burton, Austin Hill, Daniel Dye, Dean Thompson, Brennan Poole, and Parker Retzlaff round out the top 20. I loved Brennan Poole's scheme won best of the day. So but I loved on track seeing Parker Retzlaff. I loved seeing the 25 was nice, throwback to his dad. Carson Kvapil looked good too. Do we think the number one pit stall isn't the advantage it used to be? I think it depends on the track. I don't think it matters as much at certain places. You know, if you have the team to give you the advantage out of the box, then yeah, the position of the box I think still matters. But it was like that for years at Phoenix. Still like that at Phoenix, where if you have that number one pit stall, it's so hard to get track position at some of these places that it's a huge advantage. F1 at any car use one lock and they never have any issues with tire coming off. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the same technology. I don't know if they are doing it differently or the same, but our guys don't, seems like we have more problems with the design of whatever it is. Yeah, I love that Exide Batteries car, the 99. I used to run that in iRacing on the trucks, like that scheme. Matt Benedetto brought it home 23rd this weekend. Christopher Bell, 25th. David Starr was running in 26th. Anthony Alfredo's scheme this weekend was really nice too. That colder than the Rockies Sterling Marlin throwback. That was a good one. Taylor Gray, another rough go for him. Was running really well, fastest lap of the race. Always has good equipment, always set up to win. But just I think he boofed it coming off of turn 4. Saw him and whacked the inside wall. So that wasn't exactly ideal. Carson Quapple only 11 points behind Connor in the rookie chase. Yeah, let's see. I want to go to the point standings for Xfinity real quick if I can find them. Yeah, the Frosted Flakes car was cool. I wish he would have just kept it out of the wall a little longer instead of lap 4. But car looked good on track. I mean, all right. So this isn't rookie standings, but this is point standings in general. Justin Allgaier's first in points. Sam Mayer second. Austin Hill in third. Sheldon Creed in fourth. Jesse Love fifth. Connor Zilich in sixth. Brandon Jones, Carson Quapple, Ryan Sieg, Harrison Burton bring out the top 10. What a run Harrison Burton's having. I'm a big Harrison Burton guy now. I'm converted. He was in the 21. I think they expected a lot out of him. He wasn't quite prepared for the situation they were putting him in. But he's been really good in that 25 car. So top 10 in points right now. Sammy Smith in 11th, Jeb Burton 12th, Daniel Dye 13th, Eric Almirola 14th. Again, a part-time driver. Top 15 in points. Crazy. Nick Sanchez in 15th, Christian Eck is 16th. Taylor Gray probably deserves better than where he is, but is in 17th here. Brennan Poole in 18th, Dean Thompson 19th, Jeremy Clements in 20th to round out the points there for the Xfinity Series. Curious your thoughts on Alfredo. Is he struggling just because of the team or his own or both? It's an interesting situation with him. He has bounced around from car to car, from team to team. He's a Hendrick sim driver. I think he has exceptional talent. I think it's just a matter of the track, his confidence and his ability at certain tracks and the equipment he's being given. I thought he ran really well in the 5 last year. He outperformed the equipment he was in the 78 with BJ McLeod Motorsports there. But it just doesn't seem to all come together. I mean, when you talk about Xfinity too, there's a handful of premier programs and then there's everyone else. So, you see the Haas factory teams, the RCRs, the junior motorsports, the JGRs. So if you look at the top 8 in points, that's all those teams. Then you get Ryan Sieg, Harrison Burton, Sammy Smith, who's a junior motorsports driver. That's 11th. Poor Anthony, he's getting his nose pushed in. He's 27th in points. I mean, it's a tough deal, Daniel. I don't know. I think ultimately it's a little bit of both, but I'm sure there's things that he could tighten up. I'm sure there's things the team can do to help him. So I'd love to see him stay at a team for a couple of years, though, or get a chance at like a really top tier ride. He was in some bigger stuff earlier in his career, but I thought he was with RCR there for a minute, I think. Let's see. He's got a piece here behind me. You can't see it. It's behind the gas can. Yeah, pretty sure he ran for RCR for a year or two or whatever it was. He ran in the Cup Series in the 38. He ran in the 78, the Dude Wipes. He ran in the 5. Yeah, he had replaced John Hunter the year John Hunter decided to go down. Yeah, this year he's with the Young Motorsports. He's a simulator testing driver for Hendrick. But in let's see, I don't go like into this guy's whole life, but yeah, he ran for RCR in 2020. They ran for FRM in the Cup Series in 21. Ran for R Motorsports in 22. Ran for Live Fast in the Cup Series and BJ McLeod Motorsports in 23. Beard Motorsports and R Motorsports in 2024, and then this year he's with Young's Motorsports. So he's bounced all over. I mean, let's see. So he ran in the 21 that's currently occupied by Austin Hill. He ran 19 races, no wins, 2 top 5s, 9 top 10s, 15 laps led. You know, it just doesn't seem like he had it that year. I feel like 1 year in a car is not long enough to really tell the story. And then he's done Cup stuff, on and off, but he had, what was it? He ran 36 races for FRM, had 1 top 10. So wasn't just not quite all together just yet. Where can you get a hat like mine? Hold on. You can get a hat like mine without the patch on the side. I put the patch on the side for mine, but Stock Car Society is where you can get these hats. Our friend Hugh over there, he's doing the Lord's work. But that's kind of the Xfinity Series rundown this week at Darlington. I know Alfredo got into it with the 70 car, Leland Honeyman, I believe it was. Was it him? It was the Nesquik car. The two of them were kind of beefing with each other. Alfredo had some choice words. Talked about how you don't need to be qualified to get into this series anymore. Yeah, it was a rough one. Speaking of hats, I hate New Era, but all Cup drivers have 47 brand, but they only sell New Era. Yeah, I don't know what the licensing deal is there for what the sponsors get for the teams versus what they sell us. Yeah, everybody loves these hats. I'm telling you. And then I went on eBay and I bought, the Daytona 500 patch from 98. From 98, glued it on the side. Wore this hat to Daytona. Kurt Busch signed the bottom of my hat. Bill down here. A lot of tequila at Hooters that night. Woo! Not good. Not good that they put that Hooters right across the street. All right. Wow. It's only 7:30, which is it's a problem that it's only 7:30, but yeah, I miss being in a Daytona. Hold on. I gotta turn this off. 1 second. I thought I could do it. I thought I could go the whole show listening to myself in my own ears to include the thing. But I can't do it. I don't want to do it. All right, good. There we go. Yeah, no, I did it for Dale for sure. 100%. Let's see if you can see it. No. There you go. Yeah. Cool. I have a lot of hats, so one of the cooler ones that I have. Always fun when you get to take it out places and have experiences in it. And I used to wear it all the time. People wear them. I mean, there's other creators who have them and wear them. They made more than one of these hats, believe it or not. So it's fun. This, and I usually wear the official shirt behind me, the Truck Series official shirt. But it's cold in this room this morning, so Oh man, Kurt Busch is the man. Nice guy. NASCAR Mount Rushmore. I mean, Bubba Wallace is on that Twitter image now for the NASCAR Mount Rushmore. he loved that. He leaned into that one heavy. I love it. No, I think it's Johnson, Petty, Earnhardt. What is it? Mount Rushmore's 5. Johnson, Petty, Earnhardt, Gordon. I always feel like I want to put like an older driver in there, like a Davey Allison. I feel like that's like a good fifth for the Mount Rushmore. There's so like you could put Mark Martin on there. I think. I don't know. You could put a lot of good drivers on there. Tyler, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Kale Yarbrough is another good one. I always feel like that fifth one is depends on like what era you grew up in. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of the move for the Mount Rushmores. If you got Mount Rushmores, drop them in the chat. I'd love to read them. Craig's is Gordon, Dale, Petty, and Jimmy. How do I be cordial with older women at my new job? I'm getting catcalled. Oh man, we have this series we want to develop here for Sal that's giving advice to people, where they come into the chat and I give them the best advice that I can. We talk about your NASCAR stories and talk about how we can give life advice, which is funny, or racing advice. That's a good one to start with, though. Yeah, I was a Gordon fan growing up. I have all the 24 stuff sitting in the boxes at home. Well, in boxes right now because I'm relocating. But yeah, I mean that era of NASCAR. I think as I've gotten older, even like people ask me like, "Oh, who's your favorite driver?" It's like I don't really know anymore. Like I was a Martin Truex Jr. fan, and then he retired. So it's like, okay, who do you latch on to now? And it's like, well, it's nice not to have like the emotional attachment to a driver where you feel miserable when they don't do well. So it's fun for me to sit back now and watch just the boys have at it, which is more fun to me. I like the 24 though. You know, stick with the number. Always good looking cars, always fast, always very competitive. I like Noah Gragson. Um, I like Hocevar. Like some of the new guys coming up. Christopher Bell's cool. Kyle Larson's all right. You know, Denny Hamlin's fun. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, there's a lot of drivers on that field that I like, not a lot that I dislike. I think there's drivers that are not competitive, but I don't dislike them. I don't, you know, I think it's just you pick your favorites, and there's the good, bad, and the indifferent. But I wish that 3 car was more competitive. I don't hate Austin Dillon, but I just think I wish the 3 car was more competitive. I don't know. It's an interesting place we're in the Cup Series now, where the cars are so similar. It's like the personalities, I think, is really what matters to me the most. But that's why I like Denny to a certain degree. I've learned a lot about him through his podcast and stuff. People hate him for a long, long time, and you know, I don't love Chase. He's kind of bratty. You know, his comments this weekend about Throwback Weekend, bro. Like, it's not life's not all about you. You know, I don't. Not vibes are not there from him. It's very similar to the IROC series. I mean, it's hard to cheat up a Cup car nowadays. It's very difficult to cheat a Cup car to make it faster. I mean, you see Hendrick try to do it at Phoenix last year. They got dinged for it. You see teams try to do it all the time, but you know, the cars are basically all the same. Yeah, I don't understand how Chase Elliott continues to be the most popular driver. I don't know. Maybe this will be a good section of the show to clip this week. But I don't understand how Chase Elliott can continue to be the most popular driver because of his last name. I mean, he's one of the least personable he's one of the least personable personalities that I've seen on camera. I don't know how he is with his fans in person, but on camera, he doesn't seem like he's really having a good time. He wants to get in the car, he wants to drive, and he wants to leave, and that's it. Yeah, I agree. You grow up loving one, and then as you get older, you start to appreciate the field, appreciate the talent that you see throughout the entire grid every weekend. Let's see. I like Tyler Reddick. I'm just going down the point standings in the Cup Series. I like Tyler Reddick. He's fun. He's got the mullet this season. I love that he brings his son out there and has fun, and his family's out there with him. Kyle Larson, I like Kyle Larson. I don't, I'm not a Kyle Larson fanboy. Greatest driver in the world, all that. I don't know about that, but he's cool. I like the throwbacks that they do for him. I think that they gotta give a little bit of diversity in the paint scheme offering for him. But I like Ryan Blaney, YRB. He's fun too. He's a young guy. I like Bubba. Joey's kind of whiny. I like him. I respect him. I think he's a great driver, but he's gotten better for me. Joey Logano has grown on me over the years. He used to be kind of whiny, and he's gotten a little less whiny. I like Christopher Bell, for sure. I like that he runs dirt track. I like that he has that he sticks to both disciplines. I think it's cool when drivers can go outside of the traditional. So I like Christopher Bell. He's fun. Blaney is a whiner. He's a whiner on the radio, it seems. I like Josh Berry. Josh Berry's fun. He's a great story too. A real true grassroots guy. Probably the last one you'll ever see. It's a last name alone. It's a last name alone deal for him, I think. Barry seems like he's good people though. Was a bank teller running iRacing when he got famous to run Cup, or when it got the attention to get the opportunity to run Cup. It wasn't a light switch moment, but I like Noah. Like I said before, he's fun. I think he's good for the next generation of fan. Same with Hocevar, even though their results aren't really there right now. I like Big Bad Brad, especially Talladega. I used to hate Kyle Busch, but I've grown to really enjoy watching him. The Kyle Busch villain era when he was just dominating all the time. Like every race that I would travel to, he would win. I saw Kyle Busch. I've seen Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin win more races than I can remember. See Martin Truex win a race or two too, which was nice. Dover. But I do like Kyle Busch. I don't know much about Justin Haley, so I'm indifferent. Eric Jones, I don't know much about. I'm indifferent on that one too. Austin Dillon is cool. His TV show was fun. Wish the car was more competitive. Wish it wasn't the 3. That's all I have to say with that. But good morning, Adrian. How we doing? Yeah, the first year was that first M&M's. That M&M's car was like it would woke you up in your nightmares. I like Ty Gibbs. You talk about somebody who likes to get on their soapbox, though. Ty Gibbs is one of those guys. He yells at everybody on the headset. Ty Dillon, I don't know much about, so I'm in the middle on him. Daniel Suarez, I like. I feel bad for Daniel Suarez because they have Zilich sniffing up his behind. Big Todd Gilliland, he's cool. Zane Smith is cool. Not a huge Austin Cindric guy. I don't like this hooking incident. This hooking habit that Cindric seems to be in Coda, and then what was it last week? I don't like it. I don't like it. I like John Hunter. He's fun on social media if you follow his YouTube channel. I like Ricky Stenhouse. I like that fabricated beef he has with Gregson. Everybody thinks that that's legit. Like they don't like each other. They love to just make fun. Oh yeah, dude. His dad being what was he? He was like the chief operations officer for Penske for how many years? And then he was just reinstalled in a new role in the organization or something. President of Penske. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, we were close. I knew we were close. That kid had success in the trucks and on road courses and stuff, but I mean, the reality of NASCAR racing at that level is that you have to have the right last name or the right connection. I like McDowell. He's cool. The preacher. AJ Allmendinger's cool. I like that he's a fun interview. Chase Briscoe's kind of like vanilla to me. Priest is I like the success Priest is having this year. He's a Northeast guy. I know he's a little bit of a whiner sometimes, but he's fun. Ross is like I miss the Ross villain arc when he was wrecking everybody. That was a really fun time for us as fans. I don't think it was fun for anybody else, but it was fun to cover that as somebody who wants to be on the internet covering racing. Is Trackhouse cooked? I don't think Trackhouse is cooked. They're not having the year that they want to be. Ross is in 12th in the points, and Shane Van Gisbergen is in 33rd in the points. Where's Daniel Suarez? And Daniel Suarez is 24th. So, middle back in terms of points throughout their organization right now. I think Daniel Suarez is going to get bounced for Connor Zilich. That's not a hot take. And I think you're going to have SVG, Zilich, and Chastain for a couple of years, and then ultimately Van Gisbergen, he's not going to run a full career at Trackhouse. He's already raced a full career in supercars, so we'll see what happens with that. But they are kind of cooked, I guess. But they have other things going on too, right? Trackhouse does MotoGP, and they have other interests in the motorsports industry that they're trying to chase down as well. When he won at Nashville, was that last year, 2 years ago? That's when I really started paying attention to him. He's, I like Alex Bowman. I like his interview from Chicago. Fun guy. I like them all. I for the most part. Ty Dillon, I don't know that well. I don't know of him that well in terms of even his on track product. I know he was in the Xfinity series, and then he ran that Geico car for a long time. And Corey LaJoie, I like Corey LaJoie more now as a podcaster than I did watching him race every weekend. No disrespect to Corey LaJoie, but I think he's a great personality to have in that way, in that role on his podcast, doing Stack and Pennies. I've enjoyed that. He wasn't always the most competitive in that 51 car or in the 7 or in whatever he was riding in. But I think he's a smart guy. I think he's got good takes. Plus Skip Flores, Jersey guy, indoor champion up here. So got to support. And then what somebody asked me what my thoughts were on the Xfinity drivers too. Not like everybody cares what I think, but I mean, I Austin Hill I don't love. I'll say that as we're going into the Xfinity series. I don't love the way he races. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I met him at Dover one year. He seemed like a really nice guy, but just the way the situations unfold around Austin Hill, I don't understand. I'm not a big Sam Mayer guy. I like Connor Zilich. I like Justin Allgaier. I like the junior motorsports guys. There's a good culture over there. Sammy Smith, he's on probation right now for everyone, I feel like. I like Harrison Burton. I think that's cool. I like Daniel Dye. Daniel Dye ran in the Stream Team Racing League with us one season on iRacing. So I got a special place for him. He pops into the TikTok chat every once in a while when he's around. Austin Hill will never make it in the Cup Series. They're certainly going to try to put him in the Cup Series. He's got 8 opportunities this year. They just bumped it up. Maybe it's 6. They just bumped it up. He's running that 33 car a couple races this year. It's all about the money. It's all about what his sponsors will push up into RCR to get him that opportunity to move up. I don't know what that means for him. Jesse Love does seem like he's the better development driver right now, especially the age there too, where it feels like Austin Hill's been around the Xfinity Series a really long time, and Jesse Love is just coming in and getting a good level of success just out of a cannon. So I like Jeb Burton. I think Jeb Burton whines a little too much, though. I like Brennan Poole. Takes a lot for a grown man to dye his hair blonde. How do you feel about Garrett, Mitchell, Cletus? I think Cletus could be the best thing that's happened to the modern era of NASCAR. If you want me to be really honest with you, not to like go really like blow smoke way up, you know. But I think he's his influence online in the motorsport space outside of NASCAR. You know, he's essentially created his own. I don't know, his own races, his own tree, owns his own track. Like that's not like the average content creator. You know, I agree with you. His influence and his ability they have to market with him is huge. I think he's going to get an Xfinity car at some point. I think he's going to get his license for. He's going to run at Bristol and he's going to run at Talladega. So he'll have run Daytona, Bristol, and Talladega this year in the ARCA car. And I think you're going to get him next year, potentially running some testing for Xfinity and doing some different things because it seems for real. It seems like something about him too. It's not an act, right? With Cletus, he's not one of these drivers that's grown up. Oh, I race karts and I race trucks and I raced ARCA West and he didn't grow up in behind the wheel of a race car. He like came into that as like a little later in life compared to some of these other guys. Tough comparison because a lot of guys get in the car when they're children still. But the way his face lights up when he gets in the car and starts running, you know, that interview at the Infield Care Center Daytona, that's not like scripted. That's not rehearsed. That's real. Like that's who he is as a person. So I don't know. I think that genuine love for it helps. So I'm a big fan of his. I hope he goes far and does well in whatever part of the sport he finds himself in and his own endeavors as well. I tell you what, I do agree with Anthony Alfredo that there's not a lot of qualification you need to run in the Xfinity Series. If you got the cash, you can go because there's some names on this point standing list that doesn't make a ton of sense. Like Chris Wright, that one doesn't make sense to me much. Then there's the obvious rent a ride guys who pay to have a handful of races a year in certain cars. But I like a lot of there's more Xfinity drivers I dislike than there are Cup drivers, to be honest. He's definitely real. I went to meet him when I was doing storm work in Florida. He was like out doing the same. Yeah, like even during like the guys when he was doing the helicopter stuff for the Hurricane Helene, like he's just out there whipping his own helicopter around helping people. Like he's a normal human being. He doesn't have influencer brain. He's a real person. Even after all the success, he's still just a normal guy. Just with an extraordinary set of circumstances around him where he gets to do the fun things that he gets to do. Guys from JGR ARCA program are given a false sense of talent. So you say that, which is a good thing to say because I just saw it. William Sawalich, who was dominant in the JGR ARCA program, is in 22nd in the points in the Xfinity Series now that he's moved up. So I think that's a fair point to make. Let's see about the Truck Series here. Who do I like? Do I really not like anybody in the Truck Series? No, I like everybody in the Truck Series. Yeah, I think I like everybody in the Truck Series. I don't know some of these people as well as I know others. Truck Series has definitely gotten better over the last couple of years. I've enjoyed watching it more since Hocevar moved on. He was a weapon. I like him in the Cup Series, but he was a weapon in the trucks. Lane Riggs is a good story. That team's taken big strides forward this year. He's an 8th in the points in the trucks. They didn't race this weekend, but he's 8th overall in points. It's Heim time now at the top of the leaderboard. He's been up there for a while. Stuart Friesen. What a giant leap forward for Stuart Friesen this year. Top 5 in points right now. Could have won 2 races if things had kind of fallen for him the right way. Busch North Series helped a lot of Northeast racers get recognized back in the day. Yeah, I don't feel like there's an outlet for folks in the Northeast as much as there used to be. I don't know. I don't know like the regional series as well as I should. I know the Smart Modified Tour is out there. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is out there. But not a lot of Northeast racing happens that I've seen at the with NASCAR backing. You know, you go to your local tracks, but you have to be the right kind of person to come out of those situations and modifieds to move down south and get the opportunity. How dare you slander my boy Carson? I like him in the Cup Series. Just the Truck Series, he was not. It wasn't it. He was piss missling everybody for a championship. We can't have that. Yeah, it used to be. I think, yeah, for people who remember what it used to be like when the Busch North Series used to go to like New Hampshire, like that was the golden era of the racing up in the Northeast. And I mean, I love modified racing. Wall Stadium is my home track, so it's seeing guys like Andy J and Jimmy Blewett and all those guys run at those tracks. I've seen the Baldwins run at Turkey Derby, and people come from far and wide to be a part of those events. It's definitely not easy to get that big boy chance to go up to a truck or a Xfinity car or a Cup car. Not everybody wants to relocate either, which is tough to go down to the Carolinas. People have businesses, they have families, they have lives. So it's not easy to do that, but to get the chance, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But hopefully we'll be doing some things with modifieds this year. I might have the opportunity to work for Wall Stadium in a one-off side gig capacity. So there's some opportunities there that I'm trying to chase down. I heard from them. When was it? Last week? Wednesday, April 2nd. So I'm trying to get some information out of them to do some fun things there at the track this year in some capacity. I hope nothing but bad things happen to the 5 car. What did Kyle Larson do to you? Why do you hate Kyle Larson like that? Why, Jeremy? Why did who hurt you? Where did the bad man hurt you? We haven't really talked about the Cup race yet, like the way that I've written down in my notes. So I'm gonna buzz down this list here as we get talking. It's almost the top of the hour. Jeremy's probably a Blaney fan. Keep that toaster out of arm's length. I'm telling you, it's a very dangerous thing to have. After watching some of these races, Blaney's got a win coming though, right? I mean, how much longer can he go without winning? It feels like it should have already happened. Slamming on his brakes. He did slam on his brakes. The Larson thing is interesting because he should not have checked up like he did in that corner. To be fair, the 45 was in the wall. How far in the wall was he that Larson needed to check up like that? I thought the checkup was a little aggressive. For me, I think it was more about like people understanding that Bubba wasn't the reason that wreck happened. But I think as time went on, people understood. But I think Larson is gonna have a run where he's gonna start winning races. I mean, he already, he's been a victory lane already this year. So New Hampshire Motor Speedway was built because Oxford, Maine wouldn't allow NASCAR to do changes to become a NASCAR track. Oxford's a fun track though on iRacing. I don't know much else about it. Looked to me like he was leaving Bubba a lane on the high side. I mean, I don't think he was. I don't know if he was intentionally leaving. He tried to slide job him. That's what he was. From my perspective, you watch that in-car camera. Bubba's just running his line, and here comes the 5 just scooting up in front of him. Would have been a good bet to bet Blaney this race, like mid race if you bet it live. I'm not a gambler. I don't gamble on NASCAR. It's like betting horses. I just don't see the return on it sometimes, but would have been. I would be pretty upset too if I had money on it. I I race Oxford since I was 16. Started in 11 days, brother. 66 days. Crown Vic. Crown Vic races are fun. Should get more tracks doing that for funsies. Cheap to run those cars. Yeah, that incident with Larson and Bubba was interesting. I think, for me, it was interesting to read people's comments on the video I posted about it, where it was just the in car. I did my very best not to like inject any opinion into those responses when talking about that caution, because people get it twisted. But that video did really, I mean, the video got out there to people. It had 100,000 views on Instagram, which, not to toot my own toot, but uh we can read the comments if we want to, what the general consensus is. But let's run down some of the notes from the race overall. William Byron, I mean, just dominated this race. 243 laps led. The car was in its own state, ahead of everyone. Its own zip code, as the phrase has been used this year a lot. Uh, they had the win in their hands until they strategized it away from themselves. The long run speed was unreal. He was pulling away a half a second a lap at some points of the race. He was out 3-4 seconds when he was in that clean air in the lead. They just couldn't get the pit cycle right, and when they came down for the Keselowski yellow, it cost them. So they weren't able to get that track position back once they were in traffic. But tough to lead 243 laps and lose a race. Stock Car Society is where I got the hat from. You can get one of your own as well. I think I have a promo code with them still too. You can try to use code SlideJob10 if it's still active. It should be. I was never told it was turned off, so it's been a while though. You get 10% off with that code. Yeah, it's Byron's day though. Super unlucky. I really wanted to see that car in victory lane. Good looking scheme. Glad a throwback scheme won the race though in Denny Hamlin with that Carl Edwards throwback. But Byron's day just goes to show you have to have the total package put together. Yeah, I'd love to jump into a real car. I just don't have I've never had the opportunity, and I certainly do not have the resources to get my own. So I've looked into Legends cars once in a while. They're around on Facebook Marketplace and stuff, but I'll be really honest with you. I don't have the financial flexibility to go purchase a race car of any type. So, one of these days, lap traffic was insanity. They just didn't. There was no clean air. They couldn't make the move. It was like they put a sail on the back of the car. I looked at TQs. There's a TQ for sale on Facebook Marketplace, but they want like 14 grand for it. Like, I don't have $14,000 for anything, much less a little race car. It's too expensive for me. If different. This is a different topic we're getting into now. Get a Crown Vic. I don't know where I'd race it. I drive it to like work. It'd be my daily driver. I don't know what I would do with it. Yeah, when the Keselowski caution, though, we talk about it a little bit with Byron, getting kind of flipped for that pit cycle. But that was really the reset button for the race, where Keselowski's wheel nut falling off was tough. Byron was still in control by a wide margin, and that yellow brought the pack back to him and took that clean air away from him and really hurt him. So the field had to decide if they were going to pit for tires and lose the spots, or stay out and try to gamble on what they thought they had. But the ones who rolled the dice, it was a gamble that paid off, right? Hamlin, Blaney, others, they stayed out and it worked. Yeah, that pit stop that he had at the end of the race, absolutely unreal. We were talking about the Jackman earlier, sliding that jack around the back, flipping it around his back under the car. Like it takes so much practice and attention to detail to be able to do that kind of stuff. It's wild to me that not only can they execute it, like not only can they just do it, they do it fast. It's the fastest time on pit road, and they do it live fire, like in the most critical moments of the race. It's not like they're just doing it like, oh, it's just another pit stop in the middle of a race. If we lose a spot, we can get it back. No, this is like win now or go home time. And they're able to pull moves like that, and it works, which is super, super impressive. Those guys are such athletes. Definitely not talked about enough. They're talking about them more on the broadcast now, which is fun. So it's cool to see them get kind of the team profiles up there during the broadcast. But that Keselowski incident definitely was the nail in the coffin for Byron. That decision on that strategy was not the one that he needed to take control and stay in control. It's a track position track. It's a track position race. If he could have stayed out front and gambled on it, he probably would have sailed home and almost had a perfect race. I know there were people who were saying they wanted to see that perfect race deal. I don't know if I would have wanted to see a perfect race where you sit on the pole and then lead every lap. But as much as people complain that like, oh, that's a boring race. I think if a guy's that dominant that day, like, I said before, I was a Martin Truex Jr. fan. He led almost a whole race at Charlotte one year. Like, if it's your guy, like, and they're that much better than the field that day, it's like watching a pitcher pitch a perfect game. And there's some kind of excitement to that where it's like, God forbid something happens. And we saw that with Byron. It was less about like, oh, well, are the other drivers going to catch him? It was more about like, oh, well, can he close the deal? He's the best car. Can he close the deal? StockCarSociety.com, code SlideJob10. People love this hat, man. I don't even know if it's in stock on the website. It's not I don't sell them. It's not mine to control, but the folks over there, it's a one-man operation over there, Stock Car Society. So give them some, be patient with them if you're ordering stuff and it's not in stock. Ryan Blaney's decision to get tires there, though, was tremendous, right? He made that call where you can win races. Those are calls strategies that win races. They win championships. Getting that fresh tire on the car, being able to make the moves he made. I mean, the most passing we saw all day was when Blaney had fresh tires. He drove by guys on that bottom lane like they were standing still. I loved watching him make that run. Unfair, the way Krusty Krab unfair, Mr. Krabs is in there. Byron usually starts the year with a few wins, then disappears the rest of the season. That seems to be the Hendrick way. They try to rattle off a few early, then they spend the time in the summer just fine-tuning the car and then trying to get it ready for a playoff run. That seems to be what they've done in years past. Minus Larson. Larson just wins everywhere he goes. I think that's to some credit. The driver does that. But Blaney, though, pitted with less than 40 to go. He gave up track position, but got the fresh tires, and we saw it pay dividends. He moved into the top 5, made that push, was chasing down Reddick. It was going to happen. It was going to happen if that race stayed green. And unfortunate that it didn't. That Larson chose to send it in and bring out that caution. That ultimately set up that final pit stop where Hamlin's crew pulled that 8-second, that 8.6 second pit stop and got him out off pit road to win the race. Back-to-back weeks for Denny Hamlin. Larson checked up behind Reddick, trying to avoid whatever could have been happening ahead of him. But they were running so tight in that moment that I don't think Bubba had any opportunity to miss that. You know, the guy pulls up in front of him and then hits the brakes. I don't think there's any way you can get away from that. I don't care. I don't, people are like, oh, Bubba wrecked him because they wanted to set up Reddick for a late race, restart where they bunched the field back up because he was getting his wheels beat off. I don't think so. I don't think so. Larson, I saw people talking about the DVP policy. There was one creator on Instagram who I will not mention by name, but very upset. Oh, the DVP policy. It's terrible because you got cars like Larson running around out there now and they shouldn't be down there 140 lap. Listen to me. It's not about the DVP policy. It's not. It has nothing to do with DVP. The damaged vehicle policy is designed to let cars come back out, right? But there's a certain level of on-track courtesy and driver etiquette and driver skill you have to have, knowing that your stuff's beat down. And Larson should have run the race differently at the end. That's the end of the conversation in terms of, is the DVP policy to blame? So it's a cool hat. What's on the side? Oh no, wrong side. Huh? It is the patch of the Daytona 500 that Dale won. I glued that bad boy right on there. Yeah, the hats themselves are really cool, but I remember when I bought it, I knew there was a bunch of people that already had them, and I was like, "Damn, I gotta change it up." And then I got Kurt Busch to sign the bottom of the lid when I was in Daytona one year, so that was fun. But no, the Blaney Bubba, or I'm sorry, the Larson Bubba stuff. You saw Bubba go over to Blaney after the race and chat with him. They're friends. I don't think it was anything deliberate. It's just one of those deals where the internet makes more of it than they should. I appreciate that, Bob. Thank you very much. I'm going to wear the hat every week. I'm going to wear it every week. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Now, one car had Blaney's long speed. The hell with the conspiracy stuff. Yeah, it's true. It's just a racing deal. It's just a racing deal at the end of the day. But when I tell you the Instagram comments, I mean, there is some voices of reason on the Instagram, like in the comments on Instagram. 100,000 viewers. I mean, it's got a bajillion million comments. A bajillion million. It's got 149 comments on it. So I'm not going to read them all, but people just talking about how, you can't try to make a pass down 140 laps with 2 laps to go. Barry was the next car ahead by 90 laps down. I only had to watch it once to know the 5 got tight and had to check up. The 5 checked up after the 45 hit the wall. The 23 couldn't check up in time. We all know the 5 messed up. A lot of best driver in the world comments. A lot of people want to know why the 5 was still out there. But again, if you can finish the race and get that point, what was the regular season last year was decided by 1 point, right? Regular season champion was Reddick when he won the championship. He was 1 point or 2 points off. A lot of people, some people blaming the 45 for getting loose and getting into the wall. But a lot of differing opinions in that thread. So always interesting to hear people sound off on Bubba, the Bubba content. It's interesting. Yeah, the Talladega hat from SCS. I don't have one of those, but I'd like to have one. I actually have a meeting with them this week, hopefully, to chat. Try to. There's some great brands like some great designs like this. Some good merchandise. RC. I do RC stuff. Pretty much all my cars are Dale cars. That's pretty cool. I never really got into the RC scene. I know they got those new scale like cup cars. They did a couple last year. I saw a guy actually talk about Dale cars in general. There's a guy out there drifting an old Monte Carlo with the big 3 on the side. I saw that this weekend. It's a Kenda Tires sponsored car. I forget the guy's name. Larson 100% parked it in front of Bubba. Not a fan of either one, but can't expect Bubba just to stop. See, you are truly a voice of reason, James. You don't I like that you preface this response. You're not a fan of either of them, but you understand that it's a racing deal because not a lot of people do understand it, unfortunately. I mean, I try to put myself in their shoes, right? I get it. Larson's trying to get that spot back, that 1 point, because you don't know every point matters. I get it, you know. But if you're Bubba there, you just get a big bumper getting bigger in your face, and it's like you're doing 180 miles an hour. So what are you supposed to do? What are you going to do? He's gonna if he tries to avoid it, he could wreck himself, and he's having a good day on his own. So I think it's just an unfortunate situation, but people gotta. I think for the most part, the people who are upset that think it was Bubba's fault, they may or may not have a predisposition to dislike Bubba already. So, well, I don't know. There's a lot to talk about there that we won't. Tire wear was a crazy factor, and the heat on the track was the villain in the story. It's crazy. Darlington's a cheese grater, truly. It just chews the tires apart. It's crazy how quickly the tire fall off happens, especially if you're running the bottom trying to slide around and make things work. We talked a lot about Hamlin's pit crew magic already. The clean air was everything. The tire wear and the clean air is everything at Darlington. If you can keep the tires under you and stay out from the traffic, you're in great shape. A lot of people asking if this was a good race too. I know there was the Gluck poll happens every week. Teardown. Let's try to listen to the teardown as quickly out of the race as I can. But was it a good race? I thought it was. I think it was just a good old fashioned ass whipping by Byron. Obviously we got the excitement at the very end, at the end of the third stage, the very, very end of the race. But I think that these kinds of races can be just as enjoyable as watching, a race with 55 lead changes in it. You know what I mean? I think there's just a different type of good. Different from how a breakfast sandwich is good from an ice cream sandwich. Both good, just different good. I think the debris caution in stage 2 is bigger manipulation. I mean, listen, I'm not accusing anybody, but you make a good point because that debris was down on the inside wall. And I mean, I didn't understand what the immediate need was to throw that yellow to pick up that debris. The cars weren't actively running at the bottom of the track. We've seen a few very questionable debris cautions this year to save some drivers. Sometimes I do think just the tinfoil hat gets sucked onto my head really tight. And I do think they hit that button just because they want to re-rack the field. I do think they do it sometimes, but I don't want to believe it, but I have a hard time not believing it. Anytime NASCAR's on, there's a cold beer in my hand. It's a great race. I love it. I was drinking those Modelo Lights this weekend, watching the race. They're just like drinking a bottle of water. Wasn't my jam. Yeah, well, they were definitely the yellows were coming out very strategically in terms of like the long run happening. So the full season points folks should be defending this race hard. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is what full season points people want to see. I think that's the better playoff model personally. I think if you run consistently, like the fact that Byron's Byron won the stages, which is great. But the fact that he's not going to get like anything extra for laps led or for consistency in finishing position or track position, if you run 243 laps at the front of the race, I feel like there's something to be given there. I don't know. But I don't make the rules. But was it actually a good race? There was strategy swings. There was long run tire gambles. There was, a crazy caution at the end and late race chaos. Good pit road action, especially at the end. I thought it was a good race. I think it was pretty split at the end from fans because I think half the fans that you see are, those who are just here for the casual, how can I be entertained situation? And then some of the fans are really have been around and understand like there's more to it than just crashy, crashy, smashy, smashy, checkered flags. So I think some folks want to see side by side action all the way, and you're not going to get that at every track. And some people want chess matches, and I think that's what this is. This race reminded me of a pitcher's battle. That's what this race reminded me of in like baseball. It's not always the most exciting thing, but those pitchers on that mound are absolutely trying to like everything they can do mentally to win that race, strategically to win that race, making pivotal decisions to win a game. That's what that is. So I agree. I think the if you lead that many laps, it's way more impressive than the fastest lap, you know. Um, but I think it was a good race. I just think it's a different type of good. It's not very appreciated anymore in a lot of fan circles, but hopefully people can understand where I'm coming from on that because it was fun. It was a fun race to watch. I like Darlington. Oh man. A lot of the big discussion around this race was the Larson stuff, which I hate because the whole rest of the race was an entertaining one. It was fun. But he did get a couple points back. I know people are, "Oh, no, he shouldn't have been out there." Um, you know, good for the team to be running, getting data, figuring out what works, what doesn't, making the car better. Yeah, the cars themselves, I think, play to that factor where the car wasn't good in traffic. The car just doesn't have enough get up and go when there's other cars around it. The aero packages are so aggressive. Um, I love seeing people say it was a good race though. In our chat, in the slide job chat. That's what we love. Um, yeah, the cars just don't have enough get up and go. That's a horsepower problem. It's been like that for quite a while. You know, it's just how do you fix that besides putting more power to it? I don't know. That's the only solution I can think of. I've tried to be pro Gen 7, but I think after this Sunday, I finally lost my fight. Had high hopes. I don't know. It's what they want. It's what the series wants. The sanctioning body is looking for. They want tight pack racing. They want the cars to race close to one another. They want the cars to be similar to one another to the point where the driver talent is what matters, versus being able to juice up the cars a little bit and then have to drive the car because of how much power it has, drive it off the right rear. There's a great interview with Tony Stewart out there right now. What is his name on TikTok? The Chaz, I believe. I think he does dirt racing stuff, but he interviewed Tony Stewart, and they're talking about how the Gen 4 car just was the last great Cup car. Yeah, the fact that the P1 runs, 2/10 faster than P25 is wild. It just shows you how close the cars are to. I think it shows how close the cars are to each other. Like, even in qualifying, we see it, right? The guy who sits on the pole and the guy who's qualifying 20th, the margin there isn't huge. Less commercials would be good. They did play a ton of commercials on Fox this week. They love those commercials. Love, 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 love. I think it's more enticing to get another manufacturer in the sport. I think that's an interesting take. I think Honda could have been Honda. I'll tell you all right now. Um, the automotive industry is going through a tremendous level of turmoil outside of the racetrack. In my line of work, there is great concern over the current state of the economy, and the automotive sector in particular has been looked at And there's been some things happening there, right? We all know what the deal is, but I am unsure if you will see teams or OEs make the financial commitment to become a manufacturer like this in a motorsport with the current condition of things. I think if, it's a at the end of the day, a new OE is essentially just a giant marketing ploy. That's what that money goes toward. Um, can they sell cars to the fan base based on the fact that they're an OE? Are more people going to buy Camrys because they see them on the racetrack every weekend because, versus the Honda Accord? What is the ROI on that? So I'm interested to see if they can get Dodge to come back. Dodge talking about making a return to the Truck Series. Um, you know, it'll be interesting. I think Honda is one that wants to come in. I think Dodge at the Cup level. I think Dodge might want to come back at the Cup level too. But they by making the horsepower lower, it's easier for them to attract more OEs. Honda doesn't. Technically, yes, but not in any vehicles they run right now. But I've heard rumors that they're talking about hybrid technology in they're testing hybrid technology in Cup cars already. IndyCar does it. Honda would definitely be a team that would come in and pursue that type of technology if they had the chance with the hybrid tech, like a V6 or a four-cylinder hybrid. I can't see it as a reality in the Cup Series. Maybe in another series somewhere else, but I don't. I think if you once you take the V8 out of it, you're gonna lose a lot. So I think Dodge is a better fit. Stellantis is going through some things right now though. So who knows? Hendrick would move to Honda and they dominate if they went hybrid. Hendrick would never move to anything. The bag of money they would have to drop off at Rick Hendrick's house. He's a Chevrolet partner through and through and through, a GM partner through and through and through. I saw they opened the 10 Motor Club, and he has two Mercedes Benz ones. Those they're essentially F1 cars that are put into like a street legal chassis. He has two of them. They came to the United States 8 years ago. Nobody's seen any of these cars. They brought them here. They went into guys' garages and never came out. And he's got two of them ripping around the course at 10 across from Charlotte Motor Speedway the other day. Banana Town. That place looks really cool, by the way. When I go down there, I want to go just walk in. I just want to walk in I want to just go walk in. It's essentially like a country club racetrack. So everybody loves the hat today. Glad I wore it. I was doing a little test today to see how many people would notice it, to be honest with you. I used to wear it every day on the stream. But I haven't in quite a while. So I'm glad I threw it on. Yeah, Hendrick's got a lot of Honda dealerships. I can. People love the hat, man. It's just a hat, but you got the Daytona 500. Oh, hold on. Oh my god, the 500 patch, right from '98. Um, I don't know. Power units are always a fun thing to talk about, but I don't think you're going to see much change happening. We did have some news though with Legacy and Rick Ware. There's a lawsuit there. Some charter stuff where I guess RWR is going to get out of one of their charters and they want to sell it over to Legacy, but I guess the contract that they wrote up, Rick Ware was under the impression that it would happen after the 27 season. Legacy argues that it's going to happen before the 26 season. So something in that contract doesn't make sense to somebody. So they're going to chase that one down. I have a hard time believing Legacy can really field the third car. I don't know if that helps them in terms of their investment and their tech alliances and having a third car that they can gather data on. but they're having a hard enough time right now with the 2 cars that they are running. Um, I've seen John Hunter make big steps forward a little bit this year. Uh, in certain situations, he's had big steps forward, but it's hard to see those cars not compete well. The hats themselves you can buy. I put the patch on the side. That was my little custom touch. But yeah, that lawsuit business is interesting to me. Haven't heard much on the lawsuit, the legacy, or I'm sorry, the the NASCAR and the 2311 FRM legacy, or like a Jesus Christmas. Haven't heard much on the NASCAR 2311 FRM lawsuit. There hasn't been an update there recently. Goodness gracious, my tongue is just tied around. It's gonna be a mess for a while. I don't think you're gonna get really a decision until probably after the season's over this year. I think you'll get a final decision. They knew it was going to stretch on for over a year, just about. But I think if Denny gets a title this year, he would retire, handle 2311 lawsuit in the future. I think Denny's going to leave Joe Gibbs and he's going to go run the 35 car next year once they decide that Herp's ain't it. That car, they forget that car even exists when they're on broadcast. I don't know. I think he's going to run a couple of years on his own terms with his own team, and then he'll ride off into the sunset, and you'll catch him playing golf with Michael Jordan every day until he looks like an old leather baseball mitt. But for now, for a guy his age, for with you talk about older guy, I think it's better now. I think the competition you can have as an older driver is better now than it has been in other cars because the car would beat you up. The Gen 4 car, the Gen 6 car, the net car tomorrow. But you can be a little older and run these cars because they're all so similar. And that's why Denny Hamlin is still got the talent. He's second place in the points. I would hope that Gibbs would send him off with the 11, with the number. Same kind of deal like maybe he wouldn't give it to him, but I don't think he'd run it he'd continue to run it if he wasn't in it. I think that you saw that with Kyle Busch when Busch left Joe Gibbs. They brought Ty up and they put him in the 54. Kind of create your own identity. I feel like it's really difficult to create your own identity when you have a legacy driver like Denny Hamlin or Kyle Busch move on to another team. And then, okay, yeah, I'm going to get in that 18 car now and be the new 18. Like, it's like the 3. They should have retired the 3 years ago. Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't think they should be running the 8 either. I think that's another number that could be taken off the track. But I don't know. Just my 2 cents. But William Byron leading the point standings right now. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick rounding out the top 5. Chase Elliott having a sneaky good year. He's just getting the results on track, not winning races obviously yet, but putting himself in position where he's got 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s, 44 laps led. He's just staying the course, just making sure he's grinding it out every weekend. Larson, Blaney, Bubba, Joey, and Bowman are the next 5, which is super interesting to me. I love seeing Bowman staying in the mix in the top 10 in the points. I have him picked this week for Bristol. One of my picks for Bristol. I think he's due up for a win. Yeah, I think there's some numbers that should retire with the drivers, regardless of the driver passes away or driver retires. There's definitely some unique situations where they should stop. They should stop running certain numbers. There's other numbers out there that they could end up with, or variations in numbers that they could run. But especially for a driver like Dale Sr., um, just that whole situation, it would have been really easy for RCR to put the 3 away. But I also understand the fact too that, RCR stood to make a lot of money on the licensing from that 3. They continue to sell Dale merchandise. If it's not on track, maybe people aren't as in tune to the legacy. So new fans aren't as in tune to the legacy. So they keep it on track. I see both sides of it, but I prefer them to retire it. For Bristol this weekend, I have Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and Alex Bowman picked as my top 5 drivers. So Denny, Busch, Blaney, Chase, and Bowman. Those are that. I think that's a. I wanted to pick Ryan Preece. I thought Ryan Preece had good speed, has good speed at Bristol. Um, I think Kyle Busch, he's won here so many times. It's hard to count him out. Josh Berry could have a good week this week. Christopher Bell could have a good week this week. William Byron could have a good week this week. Larson here was, almost a perfect race in the fall here last year. Absolutely right. Could be a big rebound week for him. Bubba's had good speed lately. I don't, a big shift there. We saw Christopher Bell win 3 in a row early this year, and it's like, Denny doesn't want to play second fiddle. Could he win 3 in a row? Could. it'd be, I think the Darlington stuff was something he kind of fell into. I think the late caution was something he fell into. He had no business winning that race, honestly. But could see him do that. Yeah, Bubba, the Toyotas are always fast at Bristol the last few years. Let's see. Good morning, Dom. How was Darlington this weekend? Talk to me, Dom, in the YouTube chat. I hope they bring back that spongy soft tire. I hope so. It was so much fun that week that year. What was that? Last year in the spring? 2 years ago? That was a great race. That was such a fun time to see those guys just not know what to do as the tire just peeled off. I wish I was going. I've been to Bristol before. I was there once years ago for I wasn't there for on the dirt stuff. I was there when they were on the regular surface. But it's a great place to be. I love that part of the country. It's God's country out there. It's fun to be able to go stand on Tennessee and Virginia state line in the middle of State Street. It's cool. Track's beautiful. You could spend a week out there and have a good time. Supposedly the same tire, but haven't seen the results. Denny said on his podcast afterwards the team would figure out how they ran it. Yeah, I mean, I think they were caught off guard that week, not expecting the tire to be as soft as it was. We've seen some really soft tires too. Where was it? Martinsville, the tire was like, baby poop soft. You saw the cars covered in rubber at the end. I mean, that tire was falling off. With Bristol's bathroom situations and hard to get to, I had buddies that wore diapers there. I know they have that campground at Bristol. I used to pay to use the bathroom in the campground. It's $5 for shower and bathroom. I don't even need to shower. I just need to use the toilet. I'll pay you the money. I did that one year. I had to. When you got to go, you got to go. Nicest track bathrooms I've ever been in was Talladega infield. They have trucks. They pull up those 18-wheelers and you say, "Oh, that's gross." Bro, you go like late at night when everybody's partying. I guess that's when they clean them. And me and a couple buddies had figured out when they do that. Oh my goodness, it was the best. They honestly were not that gross. Not that gross. Most bathrooms at tracks I go to, though, are disastrous. Dover has disastrous bathrooms. I don't know why all the bathrooms have to be 150 degrees all the time. Summer, winter, always. Racetrack bathrooms are 100 degrees at all times. It smells like the bathroom. Why is it so hot in there? Why can't we get some better ventilation? Why does the floor, let's do something with drains in the floors. Let's mop the floors up a little bit mid-race. Maybe they'll put like some water jets out, just wet the floor, just to get everything that's not water out of there. Because there's some disasters. Daytona has nice bathrooms. Daytona is one of the nicest sports facilities I've ever been to in general. Better, nicer than some NFL stadiums that I've been to. They know what they're doing over there. How do we get 90% of the fans to take a dump before they go to the track? I mean, that's always if you're not forcing yourself to go to the bathroom before you leave the house or before you leave the hotel or wherever you're staying, before you hit the grandstands, you got problems. I'm telling you. We were talking about this. I did some work for my job where they're talking about the Motorsports Fairness Act. Motorsports Fairness and Permanency Act. It's this new bill that they're trying to pass in Congress, and it would give racetracks time to write off improvements on things like bathrooms. So that was one of the pieces I used in the video, was like, if your bathrooms look like a movie scene from Saw, support this bill. Because some of these bathrooms are in tough shape. I know the Wall Stadium bathrooms are rough. If you have a number 2 at Wall Stadium, you might as well get in the car and drive to Wawa. It's rough, man. Hopefully they do something about those bathrooms one of these days. I don't know how we got to bathrooms, but that's why I like people who camp. I've never camped in like a camper at a race, but like you get the hookup. I feel like that's the best way. That's the best way to do NASCAR races, is to have the camper in the infield. You watch Friday night, you watch trucks in Xfinity from the camper, and then Sunday you go up and sit in the grandstands and watch from the grandstands, watch the Cup race. That's what I feel like I would do if I had a camper. I've slept in a tent on the floor, on the ground at Talladega before. That was an interesting experience, out of the back of a Jeep. I can imagine it is. I see those buses pull up on Talladega Boulevard, and they're huge. I mean, they're like houses. And then you see people who are, they're sleeping in the back of their vans, and then you see people who are sleeping in tents like I was. In the bathroom break, 4 fresh, splash of fuel, a hot dog on the way out the door. Splash and go. Well, it's a splash and dash. You know what I mean? Just like the morning show. That's what we're all about over here. But yeah, we're going to Bristol next weekend. That's where this conversation started, if you can believe it. We've got some big names kind of floating around. Let's see, who do we have in the any big names in the Bristol race at the Truck Series level? Kyle Larson will run in the 07. That's all good, Don. Hope you're having a good morning, man. What time is it for you? It's you're with me. It's 8:30 for you. Hope it was a good weekend in Darlington for you. We got Kyle Larson in the trucks this weekend coming up at Bristol. Any other Cup drivers? Ooh, Parker Kligerman going to run at Bristol. So according to this on NASCAR.com. I'd love to. I mean, you guys look like you had a great time. It looks like there's so much history at that place. It's hard not to. It's hard not to love. I feel like I would have spent most of my time at Darlington in the museum, honestly. Larson has a chance at a weekend sweep. He's racing all 3. He did pretty well last time too. Homestead, pretty close. That's why, hot race tracks are good though, because if you drink a lot, you just sweat it out. You don't need a diaper like these guys are talking about. So Larson doing the triple again, huh? All right. He really wants to do that. He doesn't want Busch to be the only driver who's won 3 races in the same weekend. I think Busch has done it twice too. Yeah, I saw some of the social content that was coming out of the Darlington weekend. I don't know. I know you're more in tune with who does that stuff, but they're doing a wonderful job. Whoever that is, the creators, the videographers, that whole group, whoever that is, they're killing it this year with all the social media content that they're putting out for NASCAR. I live very vicariously um, through some of the the off track stuff that is happening around the race weekend because I don't know. It's an experience. It's not just the race on Sunday or the race on Saturday. I think they're doing a good job of capturing that this year. Is there a better short track than Bristol? Probably not. Not in my opinion. I don't think so. Um, depends on what you think a short track is. Also, let's see. Check the schedule. We're at Bristol, April 13th. That's this weekend. Then Talladega on the 27th. Texas, Kansas, Wilkesboro, All-Star Weekend. Then they're at Charlotte, May 25th. I'm going to try to go to that race. I'm going to try so hard. I'm going to swipe that credit card. I'm going to try. Then they're in Nashville, Michigan, Mexico, Pocono. I'm looking for short tracks, honestly. Do you consider Dover a short track? It's a mile. Monster mile. Iowa. Do you consider Iowa a short track? Intermediate. Richmond's the next short track, really. Half mile or less. I agree. I think you're right. Jesse Punch makes great content for NASCAR. She does some good stuff. For sure. I love her. I like her podcast. I like some of the guests she has on. The way she's able to kind of get stories out of people is cool. I really want to go. I'll be in. So Dom, I'll be down in Charlotte. I've talked about this in the group chat, but I'll be in Charlotte the week after Easter on a fact finding mission. Because if it were up to me, I would be living in the Charlotte area already. If I had the opportunity to go down there, we're working on that. Hopefully, a little at a time, one day at a time. Life happens. Life is happening to me at the same time as I'm trying to pursue my goals. So I like to go down to the Charlotte area I try to go. I wanted to go every year, but I haven't been since 2020. Summer of 2023, I went. So I'll be back now, summer 2025. I'm hoping to go to Kerrigan Farms. I don't know if Kerrigan Farms is open yet. Somebody knows the answer to that question. It's supposed to be hotter than the devil's ass when we get down there. I think the first day it's supposed to be like 80 degrees, but I love to go in there. It is not open. When does it open? Tell me when it opens. I'm going to look it up today anyway on Google. So I would love to go down there though if it's open while I'm in the Charlotte area. So but yeah, I'll be down there the week after Easter, and then I'm going to try to turn it around and go for the 600. We'll see. And then they go back to Darlington again, the end of August, which maybe. Really love Kansas. That's one of my favorite tracks. I'd love to head out there. I'm not a Roval guy. Otherwise, I'd be at that race for sure in October because I don't have anything going on in October. What else do we have? Where's the what weekend is the championship this year? November 2nd. What's the calendar look like? Let me look at this. I might be able to go to Phoenix. I've talked about, so I work the first week of November in Las Vegas every year. Oh, there's no way they're going to let me do that. It's just tough because I have to be in Las Vegas. I usually fly in on the Saturday into Las Vegas. I'd rather schedule a colonoscopy than watch a road course. I love it. Yeah, I'm not a Roval guy. It's not for me. It's chaos to me. I've been to the track at Charlotte. I watched the Legends Car Shootout, the summer shootout when I was there in 23. I'll be there the week after Easter this year. So 2 weeks I'll be down there. Talladega Fall Race is solid most of the time. Yeah, if Michael McDowell doesn't try to block the field and blow up everybody. But yeah, well, I'll be down there. I'll be down there for a week, just Monday to Saturday. 4 Wide Nationals are down there the weekend I'm there, but I will probably be in the car driving home Saturday and not be at the drag strip. So, maybe. I think I'm going to try to go to some of the shops. Not a lot. I'll probably go to a handful, but I'm trying to find fun things to do in the Charlotte area. So if you guys know fun things that are happening that weekend or that week, there's not a lot of racing happening. I looked for Hickory. I looked for a few places locally, Millbridge. No midweek racing because of Easter. So, not sure what I'm going to do with myself. I didn't really think about that when I planned the trip that week. It's convenient because it's my fiance's spring break from being a teacher, so we have the time. She doesn't get a lot of days off outside of the time she gets as it is. So, but if we do, if I'm gonna go to Dover. That's in July. That's to July 20th. Maybe Pocono in June, the end of June, if I'm not out at work. Watkins Glen is another one that's close enough to me that I might be able to do it. That's in August. I missed that one in 2023 when I was working for Live Fast. Would have had the chance to hang out on the pit box and do the whole thing. Didn't quite get that opportunity there. But if anybody wants to give me a VIP pass for any of these races, I'd be happy to create content for you. That's on my list. The Racing Warehouse, booth 34 in the the antique shop flea market, John. I have that on my list as well. What I've done is as I've scrolled Instagram, I'm gonna pull up Google Maps now. I've just saved places, like starred them on the map, and I have more stars on my map than there are stars in the sky. Truly, from all over the East Coast. And that's how I keep track of all the fun things I want to do. Tri-County. I didn't look at Tri-County to see if they had racing going on Easter week. I know Hickory didn't. Millbridge didn't. Might go to Trackhouse Motorplex. Is it still Trackhouse Motorplex or is it GoPro Motorplex? I don't remember. But I've raced the track there. I'm not very good, but it was fun. I missed Team Penske last time I was down there. They were closed for a private event. So I'd like to get over there. The Quarry at Carrigan Farms opens 10:30 a.m. on Monday. They are open. If they're open, I'm going. I'm putting my fat ass in the hole. Sorry, bleep. Sorry, Taylor. YouTube's gonna ban us. Oh no! The open swim doesn't begin until May 17th. This is very sad. This is unbelievably sad. I love that place. Just really passionate about Carrigan Farms. If anybody knows the people over there, tell them I love them. I have like coffee shops starred in Mooresville. Barcelona Burger Bar. That place is pretty good. A lot of food places. North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame. I want to go to Big Al's. I've heard Freddie Kraft talk about Big Al's enough that I need to go look at it for myself. Big Daddy's Restaurant and Oyster Bar. That's another cool spot. Seen online. Overflow. That's a brewery down near Lake Norman that I want to check out. DEI. I always drive past DEI. That's off on Cottle Creek Highway on his old property there. You just drive by. peer in the window, think of days gone by, but they still have the car sitting in the showroom there. You can kind of peep your head in and see what's going on. Um, we're staying at a place in Cornelius, so Lost Worlds Brewing. I'd like to hit that again. I've been there once before. Hello Sailor is a cool spot if you're into like trendy lakeside eating. And then I'm gonna go to Airspeed. That's my spot. Might hit JGR. I've been there before. It depends on what kind of like sheet metal they have in stock. Definitely going to go to the Concord Mills Mall. The Lionel store is basically the ATYL Thunderdome. I wanna go there and check out what they have on the shelf there. There's a couple of diecasts that I have that I don't know. There's a couple of diecasts that I want to see if they have in person over there. That's right by Hendrick Motorsports is right over there too. It's a friend of mine's birthday. He's a big Larson fan, so I'm going to try to go over there and see if I can't get him something Larson related for his birthday. Concord Mills, good spot. Greg Biffle with no sleeves in the booth was really the highlight of that broadcast. And Richard Petty with no hat. Trackhouse is over that way. K1 Speed is over that way. I'm looking for places to go though. So if people are familiar with the area, and I'm not, I'm obviously not that familiar. I know I've been to last time I was in Charlotte, I stayed literally in the hotel that was attached to the Spectrum Center, in the city. So it's definitely a little bit of a different. I've been to DEI. I've been to DEI. Makes me sad. Like I go by there because it's like the right thing to do, but it makes me sad. I don't, I wish they would do something with it. There's some good. I want to go to the what do you call it? The Charlotte Knights, the baseball team. They're unfortunately not in town the week I'm there. I wonder if Charlotte FC is in town. Victory Lane karting. Boom. Saved. I've been to a lot of K1s like around the area, around the country, like Vegas and Orlando and Jersey, and they're all kind of similar. So anytime I can get into something a little different, I'm into it. What is this star? The Whitewater Center. They do some fun events over at the Whitewater Center. The Racing Warehouse is saved on here. You know what I'm interested in too is I've been keeping my eye out on like when the Darlington stuff is gonna pop up at the Racing Warehouse or in the shops, because Darlington just happened. So they're gonna bring the cars back this weekend. It's gonna be Bristol. They're gonna cut the cars up, and then I'm gonna be down there the week after. So I'm curious to see what's left by the time I get to the area to try to pick up some sheet metal. I'm really interested. I don't know. I'm not trying to spend a ton of money on sheet metal. I'm moving into my in-laws basement to save money to buy a house, for full transparency, for those of you who are following me for a long time. So it's one step backwards to go two steps forward, hopefully, but I don't really have the flexibility to like put more shit again. Sorry, Taylor, to put more stuff in the basement than I already have. But the Racing Warehouse is going to make that very difficult. I think there's like one or two pieces that I know that I want. Mostly fire suits. I would like to have a fire suit and put a big fire suit in a big like full size frame to have someday. I think that's really the last piece I want, unless I end up with a bumper, front or rear bumper. I have a tire table. My fiance wants me to get another tire to build matching end tables for when we have our house down the road. So I have a Byron Darlington tire from the year he won. So if there's an opportunity to get another tire, maybe there's something I can do there. Looks like there's some good like apparel at the Racing Warehouse as well. Some old throwback stuff. That's really what I'm into. I want to do some content from the trip, but I'm not gonna like vlog my way through vlog my way through the week. I'll do a little bit. I'll do a little bit here and there, but you should go to the Autobahn. They just bought in full Winston cars. What is that? Autobarn. I'll put it on the map. I'm into it. I think the plan for me is like I'm going to go to places that I know I want to go to, and if there's other things nearby that look cool, I will stop and go there also. Oh, this looks cool. Oh yeah, this is like a real deal like car collection. See, I would love to get a hold of a 78 tire, like a Truex tire from, being a Truex fan and him being from the neighborhood. I don't know where I would even find one at this point. But the table is a good move. I have the Byron one. I would love to end. I wanted a Gordon one. They're so you go to Hendrick and they have them sitting on the rack. You can buy an old you could buy an old Gordon. You could buy Gordon anything. I have one of those plates they used to put on top of the lugs when they were prepping the tires. They would like protect the lug nuts. They were like a little steel plate. They had the number on them. That I have from Gordon's era. It was where they ran it on his car, but the tire itself, I don't know like who's selling Truex stuff. Oh, it's thousands of dollars you're looking at, Frosty. Thousands of dollars. My dad worked for Dale years ago, laying fiber comms for DEI. Super cool. He seemed like just the coolest guy. I don't know. Never heard a bad story about Dale, really. Yeah, the Gordon Flame stuff is hard. The original stuff is tough. Tough to get a hold of. Like, if I go to the team, you can see what they have in stock on the team store. What time is it? I'm going to run over a little bit today. So if you go to like race used stuff and you scroll down, like the Kyle Larson Darlington tire from this weekend, the car he crashed twice, you can get a tire for $300. I'm not going to do that. You're talking about the Flames hood, just the front left quarter panel off of the Darlington car from last year. So if you wanted the Kellogg's car from last year, autographed by Terry Labonte and Kyle Larson, $3,500 just for the quarter. Race used fire suit, $5,000. Like, I don't know who's buying that stuff. But it ain't me. I'll tell you that for sure. I found better deals on Facebook Marketplace than I have at a lot of shops. And I get they the stuff's autographed a lot of the time, so it's worth more and people have a affinity to collect it. But even like an autographed, like everything's autographed. I don't even want it autographed, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know where you would find Truex stuff specifically because Joe Gibbs probably has it. Joe Gibbs probably has some Truex stuff still laying around from last year. I know a lot of fans did go in and buy up a lot of that stuff, though, the sheet metal, especially because of his retirement. I wonder if they have. Can I sort through it? MTJ merch on sale. Click here to save. Yeah, you can buy like the old hats, the MTJ hats, and oh wow, they have a lot of things on sale for. I might have to take a trip over here and get some things on sale. It's not anything crazy. Hats and shirts and stuff. 2023 crew sweatshirt. I have so many hats too. This hat's nice. Black dye hat. Pretty cool. I just applied to a job at Joe Gibbs Racing. I hope I at least get an answer. I don't need them to hire me, but I'd love to have an answer from them. I've interviewed there before. I don't know. They're great people. All the teams are good people. They're fun. Everybody's just doing their best because they love the sport. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to find where I can get that stuff. I don't know where I can physically go pick up like a Truex tire, but you gave me you've now started you've now made a problem for me, Frosty, because that's what I'm going to go try to find this when I go down there. The racing, see if the racing warehouse has anything. I wonder if I like message them and ask them like, hey, do you have these things? I wonder if they would have it. They usually show what they have in stock, but I'm already getting myself in more trouble than I should. If anybody has the plug for any of that stuff, I'm happy to. I'd love to know so I can grab a piece of. I thought about getting a tattoo while I was down there too. I used to do that. I used to get a little tattoo for every place I traveled. I've been to Charlotte twice and I haven't gotten one yet. Thought about hitting the tattoo shops down there. I don't know if people are into that, but that's what I'm into. Let me pull up Wordle. And hang on 1 second. Boom, boom. We're going to pull this over here. Boom, boom. And we're going to share our screen because we know it's safe to share Wordle. It's not safe to share much else, but it's safe to share Wordle. Wordle, Wordle, Wordle. And then we're going to wrap up for the day. I know we kind of got off the rails at the end. Everybody wants, I'll trade you guys the hat for a Truex tire. How about that? You can get the hats at stockcarsociety.com. Use code SlideJob10 to get 10% off. I have a Byron tire that I turned into a coffee table, but I want that. You gave me bad thoughts with the um with the Truex tire. There we go. I just want to pop up on the bottom there. Okay. Speaking of tires, let's start with that for the Wordle today. Okay, we're getting close. We're getting close. Oh, I have a problem as it is. I mean, you see all this stuff in the background. I have the piece from the car he run at Charlotte the one year, and David Reagan's pieces and Alfredo's pieces. Just anything I can get my hands on, I want to take home. So it's a real. I am my own worst enemy. And there's an IKEA in Charlotte too, so I can literally pick up the frame for the table at the same time that I get the tire if I get one. And she's bad because I'll go with my fiance down there. I'll be like, all right, we have a budget. We're moving. We want to save money at the same time. We don't want to overspend on our trip. And she'll be like, yeah, just buy the tire. I'll be like, Amanda, like, what are you doing? Stop. SL. Ending with E is tough here. Hobby Lobby is a dangerous place. All right. There's no O. It has to be a vowel. Oh man, the ants are coming in the house. I mean, it's gonna be night. The weather's getting warm. I got a vacuum in here. No O. I would do score, but there's no O. Again with the O, I can't get over it. Spur? SPU? No, that's not a word, right? Yeah. I'm kind of just grasping at straws. Ew. Spare. Ah, you got it. You got it. You got it. 100%. Cooper. Let's get some W's in the chat for Cooper. Cooper got it today. Spare. Hopefully you got it from doing it with us instead of doing it before coming here. It is early in the morning. I have to imagine this is the first time you've seen the Wordle for the day. But some dubs in the chat for our boy Cooper. Congrats. But yeah, it's a big weekend coming up, Bristol. Hopefully we see some drivers dominate on the track like we've seen them dominating, like we're dominating in the Wordle. But my picks for Bristol, I'll give them to you really quick before we kind of finish up for the day. One more time. It is Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney. I think Chase Elliott is due up for a good weekend, as well as Alex Bowman. So those are my top five. I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen a big bounce back weekend from Larson. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big breakout weekend again from Berry. There's some great drivers, some great cars, some great setups here at Bristol. It's one of the best tracks of the year. For me, it is the best short track of the year. But sure to be a great weekend if you're down in Bristol. My recommendation to you would be to check out Blackbird Bakery. They're right down there over by the Quaker Steak and Lube, up the street. They have some of the most delicious donuts and coffee. They got a good coffee. That's why I really love that place when I'm traveling. It's like I went to Gatlinburg last year in December, and on my way back, I drove an hour out of my way just to go get the coffee and a donut from that place because it is really that good. So if you're in the area, if you're down there for the weekend, make sure you patronize all the local businesses and enjoy the race. Don't get lost in the bathroom. Don't let a spooky ghost tickle you in the wrong places in those haunted ass bathrooms they got. But it should be a great weekend. We'll see Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup all on track starting on Friday. So make sure you're tuned in. Fox, CW, so on and so on and so on. Also, too, I didn't really mention it. We could talk about it. What time is it? 9:07. I'll go till 9:15. Then I'll cut myself off at a hard cut. I did watch F1 this weekend. I stayed up late to watch the Japanese Grand Prix. I don't know if people are into that here. I know Dom is a big Ferrari guy. He's in the YouTube chat if he's still there. It was fun to see like the very anticipated, Yuki Tsunoda debut with Max getting that qualifying position, like getting on the pole there was wild, kind of the last dying breaths of the qualifying session. The race itself was kind of a snoozer. It was a parade. It was a parade for Verstappen. But he won that race. I thought the McLarens were the best cars. I don't think that's a hot take. They talked about it a lot. People talked about it online a lot. I don't know a lot about Formula One, but it sure seemed that way to me. And then also we had Formula Drift Long Beach this weekend, which if you're not into Formula Drift, you should be because it's a great time. It is so much fun to watch Formula Drift and see what those guys do with those cars. It's a different kind of sport all on its own, just sliding those things around and in the clearances that they have to be in to get the points versus their competitors. It's crazy. But I think Osbo won. James Dean was second, and Adam LZ finished third to round out the podium in Long Beach. So always cool that they do that FD circuit there before IndyCar comes, and they do some other IMSA action on that Long Beach course. Looks like they're going to head back to Long Beach for FD in round 8, which is what used to be the Irwindale weekend. So they have a new course they're setting up in the Long Beach area that they'll utilize later this year, which should be fun. I'm going to try to conveniently plan a work trip that same weekend to try to get out there and see that. But Formula Drift, F1, NASCAR, trying to hit on it all today. Is there anything we missed? Anything big from the motorsports world we missed? I think that's about it, right? Yeah, for sure. McLaren has the best cars. Red Bull has the best driver. 100%. I don't know. I'm still curious to see. I'm still curious to learn more about F1. I just don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to have to watch it. That's really all. That's really my only requirement. So hopefully I don't have to do that. I know there's not many overnight races until Singapore or after Singapore. Adam tells me these things in the Slack. A lot of F1 kids in the Slack for ATYL. But I hope everybody has a beautiful Tuesday. That's about all I got for you this week. One more shout out, Stock Car Society. You can get the hat, as well as our partners. Stock Car Society is not one of our partners, so they're great. They're great, but make sure you're also supporting Above the Yellow Line Media and Happy Hour Racing. QR codes up there in the top left of the top of your screen. You can support Happy Hour Racing. They support us. You can also find some exclusive products with exclusive coupon codes from our partners, like these sick diecast holders. You can use ATYL 2025 for a 20% off coupon if you're looking to decorate your home or your office or your man cave with your diecast. I know I have about 40 of them. I just packed them all up in boxes. I have a diecast tour coming. I have a video that it's in my editor. Who knows when it'll be done, but I have it. But I would love to get some of these down the road in a good space to kind of hang them on the wall and show them off to people. So very cool stuff. So appreciate everybody hanging out today. Thank you all for being here. All the new followers, 14 new followers from today's stream. I really appreciate everybody who comes in and not just engages with the chat, but sticks around and has a good time with us on the TikTok, as well as the YouTube, Facebook, and X accounts for ATYL Media. It's a pleasure to be here in front of the ATYL audience. So, I hope everybody's enjoying themselves and we have a good time this week at Bristol. And we will see you next week